Hello, I'm here with Poljar, who is sometimes mispronounced Poljar, who is, in fact, Damir. So why don't you say hello?
Hi.
Hey, what's going on? Where are you in the world?
I'm still in Croatia.
Yeah? Still in Croatia. You weren't planning to leave, though, were you?
Not really.
No, okay. Because I guess you've got like a new family and everything over there.
Well, no, nobody wants to take me in. I'm like a rascal in the streets.
Yeah? Okay. That's not how I expected the intro to go. So, what do you do for? You work for Element. What do you do exactly?
I've been busy with the Rust SDK for quite a while now,
Mm.
almost a year, and it's a new library and client SDK for Matrix. And yeah, we've been progressing quite nicely, a bit
Mm.
slowly, but it, we are writing a lot of tests and making it usable, having quite decent documentation for change.
Mm.
And of course, we need to work on this still, but I think many people are already using it for bots and
Yeah.
small projects and are decently happy with it.
Okay. So why don't you tell us about the design? I guess you've been thinking quite deeply about this.
Yeah, the design is so split up in three categories. We have a crypto state machine. We have a base client state machine that combines client state like the topic of a room, the members of a room, and the the crypto state machine. And then on top of that, we're adding a layer with network connections. So a connection layer on top of the base state machine.
Okay. So crypto, then the base state that contains things like the room data, and then the network on top of that.
Yeah,
So there's
correct.
three levels. Okay.
And
And have you
this is
learned from your Pantalignment experience for those?
it's more from the Neo experience.
Okay.
Pantaleon uses Neo,
Hmm.
and I experimented there with some designs and how it would look in Rust. That's why Neo is a bit weird, not Pythonic always,
Okay.
but it will hopefully be better once we switch Neo to the Rust SDK base layer, and then we can create a new efficient.
Interesting. So the Neo would then encompass the Rust base SDK and just have
Yeah,
Python bindings on top of that.
yeah, just pushing requests out in Python. All the rest is Rust doing.
Interesting. Okay, so what is the status of that? If that's the long-term goal, what's the status of the Rust components?
So the Rust component is, well, it's in a almost ready state. The crypto is almost ready. Many things work. Encryption works. Verification works. We're not pushing forward yet the verification state of events because we need to add a lot of types because Ruma just implements the spec as is,
Mm-hmm.
and events don't contain any encryption info.
Okay.
So we need to add a bit of a different types on top so we can attach the verification state to events.
And what's the relationship between Rumor and the Rest SDK?
So Ruma is the complete base layer, like just the types, the event
Right.
types, the request types. Everything we send out is a rumor request. Everything we receive is passed as the rumor response,
Okay.
and then all the events are. So rumor is just a representation of the spec in Rust.
I see. Gotcha. Okay. And
So
then
it's the underlaying layer on the everything else.
see. So Rumor, then the crypto layer, then the base layer, and then the network. And the network is also going to be swappable for Python bindings in the form of Neo.
Well, you create bindings for the base layer, and then you can pull it into your client library and add requests on top. Or you can take the crypto layer and then you can add encryption to your client library, for
Okay.
example.
All right. So the other place to build bindings is for Kotlin. Can you talk us through that and what your plans are for the Android SDKs, or at least Android apps, I should say? Is it or Android SDKs? I'm not sure.
I think it's going to land in the Android SDK, and we are using Uniffi, which is a cool new library developed by Mozilla,
Okay.
which takes a Rust library and some IDL specification language, and then you specify your interface, and it generates bindings for you. And it can generate bindings for using the same source. You can generate bindings for Kotlin, Swift, and Python.
Wow. So what? Okay. So why wouldn't you use? So okay. So let's go. Let's back up. Your first plan is to use this for Kotlin bindings, so that it can be used in Element Android. I think is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Cool. And that will benefit the Element Android project how? Primarily because a chunk of the work will be removed from their project.
Yeah. So Element Android, when it got rewritten from, so we had the old Riot Android, and then we got a Riot X rewrite, and that got into Element Android. They never rewrote the crypto layer, and it's a bit of a mess there.
Okay.
And it has various performance issues. So they would need to put a lot of work into it, basically rewrite it. And we have this nice crypto layer in the Rust SDK, which we could instead reuse. So we are pulling out the whole crypto out of Element Android and replacing it with the Rust SDK crypto layer.
I see. So why? How will this benefit the users? Will they see better performance on Android, or is it just that it will free up Android developer time?
I think it's going to do both. So they have a lot of performance issues there with the crypto layer, and most of this is due to the way the database is handled and perhaps not enough concurrency.
Okay.
And Rust's SDK is completely multi-threaded, so you could encrypt stuff in parallel. So hopefully it will be a major performance boost and also reduce the maintenance costs.
I see. So that should, I mean, it's going to be some work up front for them to embed the new library, but after that, they'll have a big benefit from that. What's the timeline, do you think? This is a question that the developers hate, I'm sure, but when will we see it?
I'm pretty bad at predicting things, and decryption works. So I got it working up to decrypting messages using the Rust SDK, and I was hoping I would get encryption working this week, but alas, other things happened, so perhaps next week, and then connecting.
Well, that's terrific. I didn't expect it. I thought you were going to say another 6 months or something, but it could be as soon as next week.
I hope it's going to be somewhere next month. By that I mean a working prototype that we can test and then tweak the Rust SDK behavior, because the Rust SDK wasn't tested in a live environment much. Okay. It's all test-based, unit test-based. But hopefully somewhere next month a working prototype.
Okay. What else can Uniffi do? You said Python, Swift, and Kotlin, of course. Why continue with Neo in that case? Why not just use Uniffi bindings for the REST SDK and produce Python bindings that way?
Well, people like the way connections and requests are sent out. So wrapping the whole SDK wouldn't probably go that well, because people like to measure the progress of an upload, for example, and it's hard to transfer that information over the FFI. So I think the base layer is the correct one to bind.
I see.
But UniFFI has some limitations, like you can't return objects from your. You can bind an object, but you can't return an object from your method that you bound. So you need to implement various hacks to, for example, return E2E device from your.
I don't understand then. What can you return if not an object?
You can return data.
Right. So some primitives you can return.
Yeah, you can return data, and then that data can have an identifier for your object.
Right.
So you can fake return objects.
I see.
That's why we have Pi 03. That's a library that generates bindings for Python only.
Okay.
So Rust bindings for Python, and that library can return objects and can as well produce bindings for async methods.
Okay.
So it's a bit easier to work with that. That's an advantage of Pi 03 vs UniFFI.
And the other thing is the Swift bindings. Why not also use this for iOS?
Well, probably because I can't produce code that fast.
Okay, right. I mean, that wasn't a why haven't you done it yet. That was more in principle. Should we do this for iOS? I suppose.
Well, if the Kotlin bindings turn out good and great, then yeah, it's a no-brainer to use in your native clients or Rust everywhere.
Okay.
So it might make also sense for JavaScript, but yeah. Oh, right. UniFFI can produce bindings for JavaScript as well.
Interesting. So would we... and does that mean it can also do Wasm?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Rust SDK compiles to Wasm. So if your library compiles to Wasm, you can also make bindings.
Okay. And is that what Hydrogen is using? The Wasm bindings for the Rust SDK?
No, we tried it out, but there was some initial problems. I forgot exactly what. And you will need to create a storage layer that is separate, because you can't just use sled or SQLite in JavaScript that way. And so there's more work to do, and I guess it was easier to use a JavaScript implementation there.
Okay. All right, Damir, we should let you get back to work. So your main focus at the moment is the REST SDK, and in particular getting the Kotlin bindings working so that we can have a big improvement in performance on the Element Android. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about on Matrix Live today?
No. Have a great week.
Great.
And hi, Mom, I guess.
Your mum is a big fan of Matrix Live, I think.
Well, not yet, but hopefully one day.
All right, we've got a new viewer. All right, thanks Matrix Live. Thanks Poljar. Speak soon.
Bye. Bye.